Now, class, we are looking at the middle of these notes, which is from the first day back from our break. Welcome back. Here we go. To find the sum of the interior angle measures of a convex polygon, draw all possible from one vertex of the polygon. All right. Now, what's the sum of the angles in a triangle? It's 180 degrees. 180 degrees. Now, if I were to draw a dotted line in a quadrilateral, no matter what kind of quadrilateral it is, it forms how many triangles? 2. So that means I've got 180 degrees in this triangle. I have 180 degrees in this triangle. In the quadrilateral, it is 360. Look at the pentagon. How many triangles?
3.
There are 3 times how many degrees? 180. Which is 540 degrees, right? Can we do the same thing for a hexagon? Yeah, how many triangles?
4.
There are 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 times 180, which is what? 720. All right, now, are we going to draw lines in that every time? What if I give you a 27-sided figure and ask you to find the sum of the interior angles of that 27 gon? That would not be cool, right? Not cool, Robert Frost. Here we go. There is a way to figure this out. The triangle sum theorem says, stop talking. It says to stop talking and that the sum of the angles in a triangle is 180 degrees. You already know that, right? But here's what you need to know. This right here. I want you to circle this one. N minus 2 times 180. That is going to be very helpful to you in finding the sum of the interior angles of any polygon, no matter how many sides it has. The sum of the interior angles is n minus 2 times 180. You're going to hear me say it that way all the time. The sum of the interior angles of any polygon is n minus 2 times 180, over and over and over again, okay? To help you remember it. Yes, absolutely. You can go get water if you want to. Okay. Is that what you need?
Yeah.
You got it? Interior and exterior angles. Folks, interior angles are on the inside. I know that's kind of silly, but that's where they are, right? Exterior angles are on the outside. On the outside of the polygon. Now, the polygon angle sum theorem, and I'm not going to call it that. I'm going to say, how do we find the sum of the interior angles of any polygon, and what are you going to tell me every time? N minus 2 times 180. N is the number of sides. N minus 2 times 180. You have to know that. It will not be provided for you. You have to know that formula, okay? The number of sides of that polygon. So easy, so easy. You ready? Here we go. N minus 2 times 180, there's the graphic. It says find the sum of the interior angle measures of a convex heptagon. Now, folks, this unit is where we become really good at picking apart the question. And I'm going to underline lots of things. I'm going to write things up above it. The sum of the interior angle measures of a convex heptagon. Heptagon is how many sides? 7 sides. How do I find the sum of the interior angles? N minus 2 times 180. Write that down. Write that down. Which is 5 times 180. And if you don't have your calculator, this is not going to be fun to do. What is 5 times 180? 900? Yeah. But isn't that easy? So that means in a 9-sided figure, that's wrong, in a 7-sided figure, that if I add up all of the angles, they are going to total to 900 degrees. Okay? Does that make sense? It is a lot. But shouldn't it be? How many triangles would be in a 9-sided figure? 7 times 180. 7-sided figure, which is 5. Right. Okay? Now, find the measure of each interior angle of a regular 16gon. What are we finding? We're finding the measure of each interior angle of a regular. When you say regular, what should you put? What does regular mean? No, not necessarily. You need to put the congruent symbol because any regular polygon, all of its sides are congruent and all of its angles are congruent, right? All right, so measure of each interior angle of a regular 16gon. Well, how am I going to even begin? What's the only thing I have to use for finding the measure of an interior angle? Write that down. This is a multi-step problem, folks. How many sides do we know this polygon has? It has 16, which is 14 times 180. You guys have calculators, not me. 2520. Why? I have to find each angle, so I'm going to divide it by 16, which has 16 sides. So what's that mean? Each angle in that 16gon is 157.5 degrees. Folks, does that make sense? Why am I dividing? Okay. Here we go. Find the measure of the missing angle. How many sides does this figure have? 4 sides. So what's the sum of the interior angles of a 4-sided figure? This one's one you have to know. You shouldn't have to figure this one out. A triangle's sum is what number? 180. A quadrilateral's sum is 360. So what are you going to do? Here's what I would do, because y'all know I always start with my biggest number. I'm going to take 360 and I'm going to do what with that? I'm going to subtract all the angles off of there. So I'm going to minus 103, minus 133, minus 58, and see what you end up with. $66. Okay. Here's another way that you may have to think about it because of the next example. Okay. If I didn't know what it was, could I not say that it was x? Right? Could I say that x plus 103 plus 133 plus 58 is equal to 360? And then combine like terms. Couldn't I do that? Okay? And then you would solve. But that's another way you can go about doing that problem. Look at the next one, because this is when an algebraic equation becomes helpful to us. Find the measure of each interior angle of a pentagon. Pentagon's how many sides? 5 sides. All right. Do I know the sum of the interior angles of a pentagon? How do I figure it out? That's exactly right. N minus 2, which is 5 minus 2, which is 3 times 180, which is 540, right? That's the first thing I have to do.
That's when we have 180 when it's a triangle.
You're right. When it's a triangle, it is 180. When it's 4 sides, it's 360. But anything above that, I don't know what they are, and I'm not going to make you memorize. There's no reason to memorize them. Because I can always use n minus 2 times 180 to find the sum, right? Now, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? Am I told that it's a regular polygon? Oh, I can add them all together. I can say 18C plus 32C plus 32C plus 18C plus 35C is equal to how much? 540. Do you guys see what I'm doing, yes or no? How could I check it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've got 5 angles. They're all like terms, aren't they? So what's 18C plus 32C plus 32C plus 18C plus 35C? You sure? Yeah? 135? Because that's just combining like terms, right? And then what? Divide by 135. And then C is equal to what? 4. Is that what I was having to do? Go back and read. Because on a multiple choice test, 4 is going to be what? It's going to be your first answer. It's going to be A. It will be A. But look what it said. Find the measure of each interior angle. So what do I have to do? I had to plug it back in. Dang it. So what's 4 times 18? Y'all got the calculators. So that means that B is 72 and E is 72. What's 32 times 4? So that means D is 128, C is 128. What's 35 times 4? 140? And then could I check it? Add them all together, they better equal what number? 540. What are you thinking about this? It is pretty easy. N minus 2 times 180 helps us to find what? The sum of the interior angles. Okay? Find the measure of the missing angle. Look here. You got 100 degrees given. Are there any other angles that you know that are 100? How do you know they're 100? They have one mark. So that's 100, that's 100, that's 100. Do you guys agree? How many sides? Where do I even begin? I got to do n minus 2. All right, that's the first thing. How many sides does this have? It has 6 sides. 4 times 180, which is 720. Right on? Now, what am I going to do with that? I'm going to take 720 and subtract what? Why am I subtracting 400? Because there are 4 100-degree angles, aren't they? That leaves me with 320. Why? There are 2 congruent angles left over. So divide by 2, and what is it? 160. So you've got angles that are 100 degrees, and you've got angles that are 160 degrees. Does this make sense? And is it going to make sense when you're on your own? It better. And if it doesn't, what are you going to do? You're going to go back and look at that video, okay? Or look at your notes. That's it? Shut up. For real? Here we go. Let's look at your books. Because, folks, you've got 25 minutes to do this in class. I want you to do 2 through 11, and then I want you to do 22, 29. Okay? 2 through 11, 22, and 29. Do that for me and work on this before you leave.